All right, good evening. Welcome along then. SAFC Fan TV. It's another Thursday night live with the lads. We got the Mad Mistake, myself, Philly. We got Jacob, we got Dino, we got Michael, and our special guest this week, our Oxford fan. We got Joe. Come on, a big cheer for Joe. Give me a cheer. Woo-hoo!
Welcome on, Joe.
Come on, lad.
Hello, guys.
We're going to get to the Oxford game shortly. Don't forget, you can join us on the live chat if you want to join in the show. If you want to ask us any questions on that, we'll keep our eye on it and see if we can answer any questions. We're going to quickly start then. Saturday, the season started. The long await. What we'd had, get in, football's back again, stupid predictions like 5-0 and all that. And
Why don't put that on?
Whoever did that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we end up with a 1-1 draw. So what happened? Mad Mistake?
Well, it was back to the drawing board for me. It was terrible passing from the start. It was hoofed football, as I've been saying for a while. I don't know where's the passing gone on the ground. The first opportunity Willis gets, he just hoofs it down the ground and loses the ball straight away. And that's for me how the first half went. Then Burge, terrible performance from Burge. Like I said last weekend, our weakest link is the keepers. There was nobody that really performed well in the first half. Denver Hume, I thought, was probably the shining star in the first half. The defence, missing out the midfield, because Dobson went missing for like 90 minutes for me. Dobson was terrible. Scowen should have started. Phil Parkinson probably needs to take a long, hard look at himself in the mirror with his starting 11, starting Dobson over Scowen, but he obviously knows better than me because he's a manager, I'm not. But I was really disappointed, especially with the passing. We had Bristol Rovers that offered nothing. They got a penalty, they got a free penalty, put it in the back, great penalty, put it in the back of the net, but they offered absolutely nothing apart from defending, time wasting, and basically it was a great opportunity for us to go top of the table with 3 points, but we blew it like Sunderland normally do.
Jacob?
To be honest, I think Phil Parkinson, like, the side needs to go back to basics a little bit. We just look so nervy on the ball on Saturday, particularly in our midfield play, which was horrendous first half. But I do agree with one point that a fan made when I interviewed him on Saturday, is that early penalty completely threw us off guard. And like, we didn't know how to react from that because it was so early on in the game. Just the nerves kicked in massive. I mean, they had like a few set pieces in the first half where we just looked so fragile in defending them, and we needed that to get to that half time quickly for us to calm down a little bit and show more quality going forward at the other end of the pitch. And we got the goal, Chris Maguire, but overall a disappointing performance. If you want to get promoted out of this league, you've got to be looking to beat teams like Bristol Rovers.
Before we go to you, Dino, Johnny Stone on the live chat has gone number one Nissan staff apparently. So there you Johnny, go, Dino. What do you think of Saturday then,
Johnny? It was shite, wasn't it? It was shite. I mean, everyone was getting the hopes up for, we scored 8 against Villa. But when it really matters, when it comes down to the games in the league, what really matter, the players flop, the players don't turn up. It's been like this for the last couple of seasons. I mean, the players look scared. I'm not going to blame Burge because, let's be fair, David De Gea makes mistakes, man, for God's sake. There's not a keeper in this world who doesn't make mistakes. Fine, it's a bit of a bad one, but hopefully he goes on to have a cracking season. I mean, John McLaughlin made mistakes. I'm not going to get on his back for it. It's the first game of the season, so I'm not going to jump him on for that. But going forward, we were really that good? Not really. I didn't think Greg had a sniff. Pass, like you say, passing was all over the place. Dobson, sorry, he needs to be dropped. I think Power had an okay little game. He had a lovely shot tipped onto the bar, which was really unlucky. That's what I want to see from Power. Driving forward when there's space there and having a shot, because that's what he can do when he puts his mind to it. But overall, piss poor. And again, a bad start. We should be winning teams like Bristol. Obviously, we've got no given right to win, but we need to see a lot better than that.
That'll do. Michael?
I'll just echo what Dino just said. We need to see a lot better. when it came to Lee Burge, look, don't get us wrong, I still maintain, I think that last season, I think Lee Burge didn't put a foot wrong when he was in goal. I think that I do get what Terry's saying, that maybe like if Lee Burge does continue to do that, then I will get concerned. But at the same time, for me, the defenders are also there to stop it getting to the goalkeeper in the first place. So if the defence is good in front of him, that shouldn't matter too much for me. As far as the performance, I can't remember. I think it might have been Jacob who said he agreed with one of the people who he interviewed saying that early penalty rocked Sunderland, and I don't think we recovered from that for the good part of half an hour, 40 minutes. And yes, well, I'm not saying it's an excuse, but you can understand it a bit more when fans are in the stadium, because Sunderland fans can be overbearing at times. But again, we rightly do expect, to get promoted out of this league. When there's nobody in there but themselves, there's not really an excuse for that for me. You think, right, you've got 85 minutes, respond in the right way. And I think if we'd shown the application we did later on in the game throughout the whole game, I do think we would have beaten Bristol Rovers at least one, if not comfortably. I'll quickly shout out one Rovers vlogs, Charlie. I'm sure you'll be happy with that result, obviously. Jacob interviewed you after the match, of course. But, I suppose you can take some heart-ish by the fact we got the late equaliser, but Gino's right. We need to see much better than that in games coming up. Because we play like that, if we play like we did in the first half in the games coming up, I dread to think what could happen.
Right, just quickly on the chat again, Nigel Dunn thought Lee Burge was Bristol Rovers' best player. Fair point. So Joe, our Oxford fan, did it come a bit of a shock to you, Sunderland's result on Saturday, or do you know that we're rubbish as well?
Well, to be fair, I mean, most times we come up against Sunderland, we seem to do quite well. I mean, I don't know. Your summer business hasn't been. I mean, the salary cap's played a part, hasn't it? I mean, it's not been too much going on there. But no, I mean, I think you rightly say you've got to be beating teams like Bristol Rovers in this league. I think we certainly would want to beat Bristol Rovers. We've got quite a poor record against them. But yeah, I mean, I think you finished sort of last season quite strongly. So I thought maybe you might continue that into this season. But still early days as we know. I mean, we got absolutely tonked at the weekend. So I can't say much.
Yeah, so was that a shock result when Lincoln, because 2-0 wasn't it at Lincoln? Yeah. Was that a shock for you? Do you think you went there just expecting to win? And I mean, it's always a bad time to play the lower teams, I suppose. Anyway, at the start of the season, because it's just you haven't got into your stride. So was it a shock result for you?
I think Lincoln will surprise a few this season. I think they played quite well. I mean, we always seem to start slowly. That seems to just be a common theme. Just even before we had Robinson, when we had Appleton, going back all through time, we seem to start the season slowly. We've done some good business. We seem to, there was a lot of, similar to you, a lot of optimism, a lot of build up, and then, we just completely flop. And we deserve to get beat. We deserve to get beat by a few more, to be honest. If Lincoln's tactics were pretty much, they got an early goal, sat back for 80 minutes basically, and defended it. If they kept going forward, I mean, our defence looked shaky as hell, so they could have got a couple more if they really wanted it. We really did not perform at all. Defence looked shaky. Moving forward, we didn't have a shot until the 60th minute. I mean, it was a bad day at the office for us. And we've picked up injuries as well, so it was compounded the misery really. And it was funny looking back. Probably a week ago, everyone was optimistic, everyone was positive, and now everyone's feeling a bit nervous, especially after we got beat as well against Watford in the cup. Lost on penalties again. I think we dominated large parts, but ended up losing the game. So it's already gone a little bit flat for us.
Yeah, well, to be honest, Sunderland fans are renowned for it, and it's all doom and gloom up here. I don't know what the panic is. It's one game, but everybody's but I mean, I don't know what I was thinking about our predictions. Lads, can you remember what you had? Because I'm going to read them out here anyway.
1-1.
Sean's not with us tonight, by the way, because Sean's his shift pattern doesn't allow him to be here this week. But Sean said 4-0. I mean, what was he thinking about 4-0? How are you, man? Michael,
5-0.
Michael, you said 2-0. Dino, you said 1-0. The Mad Mistake, you said 3-0. Yes. Go on, sorry.
I'm so convinced if we pass the ball on the ground and Burge doesn't flop, we'll win the game 3 or 4-0. Simple as.
Right. Well, One Rovers vlogs, Charlie predicted 3-1 and that. And of course, there was only me got it right with 1-1. But I mean, I was going on that we've not won an opening day fixture. Well, we've won one in about the last 20 years or something stupid like that. So I don't know
12, I
what.
think.
Yeah, Charlton 2 years ago.
Well, I don't know what we was all thinking about doing that, but never mind. There you go. So on to Saturday then. Oxford United. Is it all doom and gloom? Is it? I mean, who wants to go first? Terry, are you a mad mistake? Just what do you think for Saturday?
It all depends what Parkinson does with his team lineup. Is he going to bring in Scowen, or Parkinson being Parkinson, will he surprise us and start Ledbetter?
Let me jump in quickly there, because David Harris on the chat is saying, would you start Gooch on Saturday?
Nah.
There you go, David Harris. No.
No, sorry, I wouldn't. I would have him on the bench, but not starting just yet.
So
It's a funny one, because the only change you'll make for me on Saturday will be Scowen for Dobson. That's the only change. He doesn't like changing the side around too much. And that means Will Grigg be in exactly the same situation as he was against Bristol Rovers. He never got a sniff. He never got no help at all up front. He had to go chasing the ball down the channels to get the ball, which is absolutely pathetic. It's garbage. How are you hoofing a ball to a little man like Will Grigg time and time again? It's awful football to watch. It is. It's beggars belief how this guy can put his team out to do that on a football pitch with a tiny man like Will Grigg up front. Need the ball to his feet, for God's sake, man.
there you go. Dino, you're trying to get in there.
I don't know why the mad mistake thinks he's going to put Scowen in. I've got a feeling he's going to put Ledbetter in. I just don't think he likes Scowen. I imagine he puts Ledbetter in on Saturday, and then I will be asking questions like, because for me, Ledbetter shouldn't be anywhere near the starting lineup, let alone on the bench. So if he puts Ledbetter in instead of Scowen, I'm not being funny. I will be going off it, like, I must admit.
Why does he not like Scowen if he brought Scowen in?
But did he bring Scowen in? You know what I mean? Did he bring Scowen in? We don't know that.
Well, he's a manager, isn't he?
Managers don't sign players these days.
Jacob's trying to get in there. Jacob?
I mean, I've heard apparently Ledbetter's not quite fully fit yet to start games, but as Terry was saying, with Lyndon Gooch, if you're going to start Lyndon Gooch, I feel like we have to tweak the formation completely. I feel like he's better when we have a front three. Like against Bristol Rovers, we sort of played a front two, but Maguire just in behind that. I think Gooch for now is a much better option coming off the bench to inject some pace going into the latter stages of a game. But at the moment, we just lack so much, I would say, quality and like desire to go forward with the ball in the middle of the park. When you watch Power and Dobson play together, none of them like overlap each other. They always like pass the ball just like sideways and back. Like we never really saw Power or Dobson like overlap each other much in the game against Bristol Rovers, other than the final few minutes where Dobson drove forward towards their box and then hit a brilliant shot that almost went into the top corner. Like we need to change things up, but I don't think Ledbetter is good enough. And yeah, what Dino is saying, does Phil Parkinson really fancy Josh Scowen to make a difference in the middle of the park? I'm not so sure at the moment.
Well, just very quickly on the chat here, Umar says Ledbetter will start and will lose 1-0 apparently. Before we go to you, Michael, Joe, who's your danger man we need to look out for then?
Interesting. Well, I mean, based on last Saturday's performance, there aren't any. But
that's what we like to hear. Hey!
That's too good to be
5-0.
true. That has to be someone.
No. I'm only messing. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if any of our new signings will step up. I mean, Marcus McGuane, who we got in on loan from Forest, looked absolutely on fire all pre-season, and then on Saturday he looked like a different man. So we'll be interesting to see what version of him turns up. But I think you've got to look at the three guys who were crucial last season, and Brannigan, Henry, and Matty Taylor up front is the kind of spine of our team, the core of our team, that was got us the success that we had last season and getting all the way to the playoff final. They've all stayed this season. Brannigan had a bit of an injury problems towards last season. I think he's got past that. So he started the season relatively well. Henry and Taylor both quiet on Saturday, but I think they'll be raring to go. Taylor may or may not be fit. I've got a feeling Robinson's just played a few mind games there and he'll be in the starting lineup. So I think you'd look out for certainly Brannigan in the middle. And I think James Henry and Matty Taylor will play. And on their day, they are as good as it gets going forward in League One, to be fair.
Oh dear. Mad Mistake, you're trying to get in. I will come to you,
No.
Michael, after this.
No, it's fine. Take your time.
So that's your question. Is there any
Yeah.
guaranteed changes on Saturday from the Lincoln match?
Yeah, I mean, Josh Ruffles, the left back, picked up an injury. He's picked up a shoulder injury, so he won't be involved. Looks as if we'll have to put square pegs round holes because we haven't got another left back in the squad, to be fair. So it looks as if Sam Long, who's usually a right back, will play left back. And I think Mark Sykes as well. I think he played on Saturday. I think he's picked up a groin injury, so he won't be playing either. So there will be a couple of changes, but I think there'll be changes both in force and also tactical as well because it didn't work at all on Saturday.
Right. Cheers.
Just quickly, Jacob.
Joe, all I'll say is if you have one player in your side that has electrifying pace, that'll be enough for you because we just can't handle players who just have quick bursts of pace at all. I remember Bristol had two of their wingers on set, like we just struggled to handle them at all. And the only way we could really stop them was just putting in stupid fouls and giving away really awful free kicks away, which contributed to them getting the penalty. So yeah, if you just have one of them, then you're in for a good afternoon. But I've just have no faith at all at the moment in the current squad we have.
We've got Cooper on the left, who's pretty quick, so we'll see if that.
Right, Michael. Just before we come to you on the live chat here, Wayne Doran says that Phil Parkinson said today Scowen is competing with Chris Maguire for a place on the right hand side. So make of that what you will. Michael, Saturday's game.
Well, I'm sure Oxford will probably be saying exactly the same thing as I'm about to say. We've got to win. You've got to, I said for the first 4 games, Sunderland should be targeting a minimum of 8 points for me, and that's an absolute minimum. But that was thinking we were going to beat Bristol Rovers. I did think we would beat them, but obviously shows what I know, doesn't it? But yeah, I mean, there's a few different points that have been touched upon. I do think that I do kind of get Dino's point about Scowen. Like, well, did Parkinson bring Scowen in? But if he didn't bring Scowen in, then what was apparently the contract he signed was only for about 6 months. So if he didn't like Scowen, didn't bring him in, then why is he giving him another year's contract then? Why has that been triggered? I don't, that to me would not make any sense. It wouldn't shock me, unfortunately, if Parkinson put Ledbetter in. And as much as I'm trying to get behind Parkinson, I want to get behind Parkinson, he won't be helping himself if he puts Ledbetter in ahead of Scowen. Every time Scowen's played, and all I watched of him was the Bristol Rovers 2-0 game at the end of last season where nobody took responsibility or put up a fight that game. But apparently, you guys tell me this, Scowen apparently has dictated almost every game that he's played. Every minute he's been on the pitch, he's been certainly the pick of the bunch from midfield. Now, if Sunderland are going to have ambitions any ambitions this season, then we need to start having players in there that can do that. And I'm actually starting to agree. Well, I wouldn't say agree, but I'm starting to now see what Sean and Dino kind of mean about power, where I noticed on Saturday, although he went forward a bit more, you need more inspiration than that. Now, this is a perfect opportunity for Scowen to come in with Dobson's suspension, which, funny enough, as much as I want him to do well, that could be the best. That could be one of the only shining lights from the game. And I don't dislike Dobson at all, but if it means Scowen coming in, so be it. Would I go as far as say I've got no faith in the squad? No. I think that we need to look at it after a number of games. I think after one game, I think that's a bit... well, if you play like we did the first hour, then yeah, I can understand it. But we've got to win on Saturday. It's as simple as that. We've got to start showing that we mean business this season. So, like I said, I'm just hoping that Parkinson sees sense and puts Scowen in there and helps the team out.
Right, just very quickly on the chat again. Our friend Carl Stewart says hi to everybody. How are we all doing? We're all doing all right. Carl, all right?
Oh, mate.
Robert Foster says, well, Josh Scowen down south due to a family bereavement, and Thomas Garrigan says Scowen has been to a funeral, missed training. So who knows if he's going to be included for Saturday, whether his mind's going to be in the right place or not, I don't know. The thing is, after Saturday, I mean, it was all doom and gloom again, and we was watching the fan reactions and the interviews on the channel, and it was Parkinson out and all this. Now, I watched the game, and I thought we didn't play that well, that badly second half. First half, needed to get in our stride, but second half, I don't think it was as bad as people are making out. Was I watching a different game?
I think you watched a different altogether, because you're always positive. I mean, having one good half isn't good enough. You need to be good for the full 90 minutes. This was the story of our season, the last 2 seasons. Good one half, shit the other. It's not good enough because teams turn up and play good for whole 90 minutes.
Yeah, but do you not think we was unlucky? I mean, 25.
No. There's nothing unlucky about it. There's nothing unlucky about drawing 1-1 with Bristol Rovers. There's nothing unlucky about it. It's called not being good enough, not being up for the fight.
Well, on another day, the shots would again stopped on the line and stuff like that.
It's not another day though. It's good enough to say on another day. It's not that day, is it?
You're all doom and gloom. Do you know that's why you're dressed in all black? Honestly. So, mad mistake. You're trying to get in there.
Oh, it was the worst game of football we've seen so far this season. I know it was the hardest.
Oh, yeah. One game. One game.
Worse than any of the warm-up matches. Worse than the whole match. Worse than the Villa match. Grigg was given nothing at all. I never had seen Grigg get the ball onto his feet once. What's the point of playing a striker and giving him absolutely no service? It's absolutely. I'm going to keep on going on till the cows come home. It's absolutely beggars belief to have a striker up there. The only time he's getting a bit of service, that was off Dan Neil. Perfect pass. All the rest of the time, he's chasing lost causes. Nothing to his feet. He's either running down the left wing, running down the right corner flag, and he's not even in the middle of the box. It's awful. Awful game of football on Saturday. It was the worst game of football I've seen for a long time. Passing-wise, we were absolutely shocking. We were like flipping Sunday League, man. It was terrible.
Well, I must have watched it again. Second half. I didn't think it was that bad. Right, Jacob, what are you trying to get in there?
This is a question to all you guys. Do you think Sunderland fans now it's gone past the period where...
Sorry, Jacob, let me stop you there. Let's go to Michael, who was trying to get in, and then we'll do your question so we can pass it around and do it like that. So, Michael, what was you wanting to say?
I was surprised you came to us that quickly, actually. No, I was saying that when Terry said it was the worst game football we've seen for a long time, worse than Bristol Rovers away last year, I'm not buying that because obviously I was at that match. And I'm not saying it was much better. It wasn't. The first
at home.
Okay, right, fine. But okay then. At home probably. But that was all I was really wanting. To come out with. Sorry, Jacob, go on, or whoever I interrupted.
Yeah, going back to my question, I was going to ask: do you think some of these excuses that the Sunderland fans are giving about how teams come to the Stadium of Light and then that spend most of the time on the floor, put 10 men behind the ball, wasting time, saying that it's a disgrace how they're playing, but we should be up against that, know how to handle those teams a lot better. We've been in this league 3 years now. What do you expect? Teams are going to come up to our place and do that now.
I would say that I agree with you. I think Sunderland should be looking to rise above that and actually find a way to break it down. But that doesn't mean it's not something that the referee shouldn't be having a stamp on about. Now, I don't blame, like I said on my match reaction, I don't blame. If Bristol Rovers can get away with that, fine. Why would you not do it? If you can get away with it, fine. I can understand it from their perspective. But for goodness sake, how often does it take for someone to pick up the ball, walk to the other side, take 10 seconds to put the ball down? Now, that's starting to take the piss. That's starting to, the referee... I said before, the referee, and by the way, though this is not an excuse for us not winning the game. We should have had enough to win the game in 90 minutes anyway. But as far as I'm concerned, the referee should be looking at what's happening in the game. And if someone's taking a long time, longer than they should be, to pick a ball up or take a throw in,
card comes out.
Give them a verbal warning. And then if they do it again, book them. Then that means and then if they have to, send them off. The only way that is going to stop is if referees start having a backbone towards it. Now, again, that's not wholly the referee's fault we didn't win the game. That's abundantly clear. But it doesn't mean, just because we need to learn to deal with it, doesn't mean it's not a problem in and of itself, for me.
There you go. Go on, mad mistake.
Terry wants to.
The only time I've actually seen us play well this season was against Aston Villa. It was the only time we played the ball on the ground. We passed out the back. We got the midfielders in play. There's a theme happening at the moment. Wright gets the ball. He passes to Willis. Willis hoofs it down the line, tries to go for 09. It goes way too far. Flanagan gets the ball. He tries to do the same with Hume, and it's going way too far. And it takes us till about, I would say, 60 minutes before we actually get the ball on the ground, start playing some decent football. I don't know what's going on in the first half. And Wright was lucky to stay on the pitch on Saturday, mind. Really lucky.
Should have picked up a second yellow, shouldn't he?
Definitely.
Can we bring Joe into this then? Joe, Stuart Donald and Charlie Methven, they've had dealings with Oxford. What are your views on those two characters?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're both lifelong Oxford fans, aren't they? I mean, I think the general consensus from an Oxford perspective on them two is Donald's an all right guy, probably a bit out of his depth owning a club at this level. Methven, no, I mean, you won't find many fans of Methven at Oxford. No. When he tried to buy the club years ago. He's been bitter ever since that it fell through. You could caught him on forums all the time slagging the club off. You won't find many fans of him, mate.
Yeah.
Nah,
there you go.
It's the same up here, mate.
Yeah, I could have told you what was coming when he got involved. Donald's an okay guy. As I said, when he was owning Eastleigh, he chucked money. He should have got further than the National League and that money he put in. So I could have maybe guessed he'd be a bit out of his depth. But Methven, he's too full of himself. I could have told you that years ago. But
Charlie,
I agree.
Charlie Methven's got no friends up here, and the person who hates him the most in the whole of the world is the Mad Mistake, actually up at the top there, who does, and he does, and the Mad Mistake doesn't hate anybody. So there you go. That tells you something. But yeah, I think Stuart Donald.
Hate him, Philly. I don't hate him. I just dislike him.
All right, fair enough. Hate's a bit of a strong word then.
He's just not his biggest fan.
So yeah, they've I think with Stuart Donald, he's just not had enough money really, and but people don't like him, but I think he's had a raw deal. Greetings from Detroit, USA.
Yes.
Face sorting. All right. So we got people in America watching. Hello to you lot.
Insane.
Thomas Carrigan, if Leadbitter starts, will get smashed. I think we all agree that Leadbitter's past his best now and should probably be given a coaching role or something like that. So have we got sorry, go on, Mad Mistake.
I want to ask Joe a question. Joe, I'm not being cheeky or anything, right, but would your ground ever be finished with 4 ends? Is there any plans to be finished or not?
Out of all the things to ask him.
3-star, yeah, never heard that one before, mate. Never, ever heard that one before.
No, but seriously, is there any time to finish it off?
I don't know. We don't own the ground, mate. So I've been talking about, the whole time I've been supporting the club. It's talking about the ground, mate. I can't see any end in sight for this. It's been a nightmare for us.
Who owns the ground then, Joe?
The former owner, Firoz Kassam, still owns the ground. So as long as he owns it, he's a nightmare to deal with. So who knows?
Dino's trying to get in there. Dino,
I've got a question for Joe as well, actually, right? Because I asked this to you last week. In your opinion, has Oxford getting better this season or worse player-wise? So obviously you've had like Ben Woodburn and other players like that. So in your opinion, has Oxford improved or declined?
Sure, mate. That's a great question because that's been one that a few Oxford fans have been debating. I think the two main losses that we've had, Rob Dickey, who we sold obviously to QPR, and then Marcus Brown went back to Borough. He was on loan. Those are two players that are really hard to replace. And I think we haven't really replaced Brown yet. Dickey, we've got a young lad in from non-league who's looks like he's got potential. We've added some good players, don't get me wrong. I still think we've got a good team, a team that should be challenging, hopefully. But it's very early doors to say I certainly wouldn't go out on put my neck on the line and say it's better. I'd say possibly as good. We'll see as the season progresses. But we've made some good signings, but we've lost some really key players as well.
So your expectations this season's the challenge? Is it like challenge for playoffs or challenge for the top 2?
I'd certainly snap your arm off for playoffs, mate. Again, I think it's going to be competitive this year. I think you would imagine Sunderland would improve. You'd imagine Ipswich would improve. You'd imagine the same clubs that were up there last season will be up there again. So it's going to be competitive. I'd take playoffs all day long. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, a lot of people's preseason predictions we've seemed to be quite high fancied. So I think we'll see where it goes, mate. If Saturday's anything to go by, then we've got a lot of work to do if we're going to knock on the door of the top 2. But as I say, it's only game 1. It's early days.
Jacob, you're trying to get in there?
Yeah, Joe. Where do your fans stand on your manager at the moment? Do you still think he's the right guy, Robinson, to take you forward to that right direction? How long are you willing to give the guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's still riding on the crest of wave from last season when we did ever so well to get into the playoffs. We played some good football. He's a heart on your sleeve kind of manager. That can rub people up the wrong way, or you can love the honesty. I think it kind of depends really. He's a bit of a Marmite kind of guy, but it seems at the moment, you know, a lot more people love him than hate him in Oxford. But as you know, few bad results, football fans can be fickle people. Like it can turn quite quickly. But as you speak to me now, he's still flavour of the month at Oxford.
Just very quickly, back on the live chat, including people on there. Nigel Dunn says, Parky's got to select a side to play well to avoid a Bowers rant. Yep, agreed.
Fair enough.
Umar Macam FC, we need a 4-4-2. Yay! Forget this 3-4-3-5-1-7 and all that. 4-4-2, good old fashioned 4-4-2, two strikers, get the wingers up there, get some service to them. Man after me own heart. Knightsea, Oxford is going to be hard to beat. They've got a solid squad. So on that score, what about some predictions for Saturday then? And Joe, I think we'll start with you. What do you think? Prediction for Saturday's score?
Oh, well, it seems every game we ever play against you is 1-1, isn't it? So I'll have to go 1-1. To be fair, we usually turn up against Sunderland, but we don't usually get the results maybe, you know, warrant the performance we put in. I don't know whether that theme's going to continue. But we'll you know, I'll take a point all day long. Sunderland, I mean, even all your doom and gloom on this show, I still think you'll be up there. I still think you'll definitely be up there this season. So I think take a point early doors. We've clearly started slow. The performance on Saturday's got a lot of improving to do on that. So I think we'll probably take a draw, get off the mark, and I'd certainly take that all day long.
Well, a surefire way if you want to beat Sunderland is all you have to do is get us in the playoff final at Wembley. It's all yours, mate. It's all yours. Easy. Right, so you're saying 1-1. Mad mistake?
Doom and gloom. What do you mean doom and gloom? We're going to win the league. We're going to win the league.
Up by Easter.
That's more like it.
me and Dino disagree with our faces there.
100% agree with Joe with 1-1. 1-1 just sticks out a mile away. It does, but I'm going to go for a 1-0 win, the same as last season, Joe. There you go.
Of course.
1-0 win. Maggle, what do you think?
Same score as Joe, 1-1. I think it's going to be it's going to be a tricky game. I think it's going to be one where the only way I would, and obviously, and I know Joe, hope Joe means I'm not being arrogant when I say this. Part of me wouldn't take a point because obviously we need to try and really kick ourselves on. I would take a point if we win the next two games, but that's being fanciful. But I think 1-1. I think it'll be a draw.
Oh, it's all doom and gloom. Come on, how many are we going to get beat by, Dino?
Well, I think we're going to get beat, actually. So you've got that right.
Get away.
What I watched on
Press the
Saturday.
leave meeting button now.
What I watched on Saturday, if a better team turns up, we'll get beat. If a better team who's more organised and who will actually who can actually play a bit football like Oxford can, because I watched them last season when we played them home and away, and they didn't play bad at all. And I've just got a feeling they'll sneak a goal. I think they'll sneak a goal. 1-0 to Oxford, I'm saying.
1-0 Oxford.
Yep.
Well, I thought you'd have added more than that, but never mind. Before we go to you, Jacob, Nigel Dunn says Sunderland's run-out music should be doom and gloom, which is that would get Dino to the ground. Jacob, what's your prediction for Saturday?
I can understand why some people are saying 1-1 because it is a bit doom and gloom at the moment. But one thing I will say is Phil Parkinson normally after a bad performance does like his side to go back to basics a little bit, and he normally does tend to get a reaction out the players. So I'm going to stick with the prediction I gave for the Bristol Rovers game last week. I'm going to say a 2-1 Sunderland win, but I think we'll go a goal down first and we'll come back to him.
Oh, Jacob, exact same prediction as I've got down here. I think we'll be brilliant on Saturday, right? Bounce back from it. And I just think, look, man, we was all right. Second half, we was okay. We was just unlucky. And I think it'll all click into place. And then all these fan reactions, these interviews will go from Parky out to Parky in and all that. And it's just, and everybody be happy. Everybody will be happy, stuck in the houses, not allowed to go out or anything like that. But we'll all be celebrating a 2-1 win. Sorry about that, Joe, but that's my thoughts. Mad Mistake.
I want to ask Joe another question.
Go on then.
Joe, are you going to miss one of your top characters of the last few seasons? Just that Jamie Mackey's retired, hasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think around the dressing room that makes a big difference. But last season, his performance on the pitch, you could tell that it was a guy on his last legs in terms of his career. He scored, I think, 2 or 3 goals. I mean, for a centre forward, he played quite a lot of games as well. I mean, to be fair, he's always someone he's a bit of a nuisance. And I think the word from the club, you sort of hear Carl Robinson talk about him. He's a big character around the dressing room, a big leader around the club. But I think we brought in Sam Winnell last week, who's, I think, a good signing. I mean, that's a big upgrade on Mackie in terms of what you actually get on the pitch. Off the pitch, around the dressing room, yeah, probably a big loss. But on the pitch, to be honest, I think last season he was quite poor.
I remember watching him a couple of seasons ago at home when there's a couple of Sunderland fans giving him some grief at the corner. He was on the byline. He just turned around, waved and winked at them.
Yeah,
green smile on his face.
He loves a bit of that. Yeah. Just shame he couldn't back it up with his performances last season. He was not great last season, but
good physical centre forward, Jamie Mackey.
Definitely. He puts himself about a lot, but goal scoring wise, he just did not. He did not score enough for us, unfortunately. But yeah, and we've got in Sam Winnell, who is a goal scorer. So hopefully we'll certainly get more. We had to rely a lot on Matty Taylor last season. So hopefully that's not the same this season.
We've got to give a shout out to a big fan of the channel, Casey Cameron Jude. Says really hope Phil Parkinson starts. How do you pronounce his name again? Is it Jamal Lee or something on Saturday?
Marsley. Just call him Arvia Marsley. It sounds nice.
Should he get a start on Saturday, everybody?
It's a difficult one. Knowing Parkinson, I think he'll still stick with the same back three he played against Bristol Rovers, to be honest. But I can understand why people. Who would you drop him for, Bowers?
Who would I drop him for?
So who would you bring him in? Who would you drop out of the current back three we have?
Flanagan probably, because even though Wright and Willis didn't cover themselves in glory, we know they're both 2 good centre backs. Flanagan for me is always a very there's some games where he's really, really, really poor, and then there's some games where he's on top of his game, as Dino likes to call him, Flappy Flanagan. You know, that's pretty much what Flanagan kind of is like. I think sometimes on the ball he's a bit nervous, and I think his instinct is, I mean, Willis does this as well, but I don't think he does it as much. Flanagan's instinct is just to hoof it long rather than trying to play a pass. So I'd probably, would you be happy with that? Well, I'll ask Bad Mistake, because I know he's trying to jump in. Would you be happy with, is it Hamali, Wright and Willis as a back three?
I think if we're going to start those 3, I would do it at home rather than away. I thought Flanagan was the best centre-back last week. Again,
quite a few people have said that.
Yeah.
So I'd drop Flanagan for next week against Oxford. I'd rather bring in Jamazli for a home match, you know.
Dino's trying to get in there. Dino.
Dino.
You know what? I wouldn't mind seeing Morgan Feeney get in. I wouldn't mind seeing him come in. And you know what? Who I would drop? You know who I would drop? Honestly, Willis. Willis isn't undroppable.
Really?
Yeah, Willis isn't undroppable. I mean, that's like you say, Flanagan has his good games and his bad games, and it was Mad Mistake who made Flappy Flanagan, not me.
Okay, but you love to,
I just like Flappy Flanagan because it does put him in perspective. It's exactly what it is. Flappy Flanagan.
Was Feeney even on the bench against Bristol Rovers?
I'm not sure, but I think everyone's been criticising Willis. So the best thing to do is take him out the firing line, because, like you say, he is playing that hoofed football, and he is getting a little bit of criticism now. So obviously you want Bailey Wright in there because he's an organiser and he's probably the most experienced centre back we've got, and he's played at the highest level probably. And Flanagan, like you say, if he had a good game on last week and Willis didn't, I think Willis might just need to come out for 1 game, 2 games, see what Morgan Feeney's about. Because when I've watched Morgan Feeney, he looks good on the ball. He looks like he's got a bit of pace about him. He's young, and don't forget he scored against the Aston Villa under 21. So did the whole team. But it was a good header from a corner. So I wouldn't mind if Willis came out. I wouldn't be disappointed, to be honest.
Just to point out, Feeney wasn't on the bench last week.
Oh, really?
No.
Right.
No, he
Well,
wasn't.
I think we agree. You know, some of the youngsters should be given a chance, and like Mad Mistake says, certainly Dan Neil has absolutely
Oh,
shown in pre-season, and
and
it's
didn't make
just
the squad.
and it's not even getting in the squad. So, just quickly to the chat, because of course Art said we should give Leadbitter a coaching role. Taffy Mackham says we Philly give Leadbitter a coaching role. He wouldn't give him a cheese roll, apparently. Nigel Dunn, our friend, says Leadbitter coaching role, get him to drive the team coach. And do that. We got match predictions coming through, score predictions. Go on, quickly jump in there, Dino.
I've just seen a comment there, right? It's actually made us quite laugh. I cannot pronounce his name. It's called Teb Enzo Dawaka. And if it's a he or she, I'm sorry. Anyone says drop Willis, I'm going mad. But when Dino says it, I think, yeah, let's do it. That tickled us a bit, that.
Oh, there.
Right, we'll go back to the predictions. There's somebody, that same guy who you just said, Mr. Well, we're not pronouncing it like that.
Apologies if we pronounced your name wrong, by the
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Just to let you know.
yeah, Mr. Wagga. Can you ask? Yeah.
Oh no.
Exactly. Right. Can you ask Joe why Oxford have a yellow home kit and an orange away one?
Because we're getting a third kit. That's the answer. And we used to play in orange when we were first founded, so it's a bit of a throwback. That's why.
Did you play in orange? Did you?
Yeah, we started in orange back in the early 1900s. To be fair,
I was going to say, Mad Mistake will remember that. It's a bit before my time, though.
Just about.
Right, quickly, score predictions on the live chat. Knightsy says 2-1 Sunderland. Andrew Elwood says 1-1 Jack Ross special. Thomas Garrigan 1-1. He's saying, Johnny Stone, your mate, Dino.
Johnny!
Saying 3-1, apparently. I think that's a Sunderland win. I'm not sure.
No. It says what position do Oxford and Sunderland need, and then I think it's a formation. It's saying
what a formation of 3-1. How are we going to play that?
No, man. He's saying what Johnny's not all there, man. Sometimes, man. He's just a wind up.
Allegedly, he's not. So there you go. Mad Mistake.
Let me ask the panel a question, apart from Joe, because he doesn't know about. But where would you start Dan Neil if you brought him into the side? We'll start with Jacob.
I'd play him. I have every faith that he can play in that number 10 role in behind the strikers, because he can make those killer through balls to the forward line.
Yes, just behind, feeding Will Grigg, definitely easy.
Who would you drop though?
I would probably. I'm being really down
on that.
O'Brien at the moment.
Who?
I think O'Brien's a bit off the pace at the moment.
I think he's finding his fitness still, O'Brien. Yeah.
Is it just me that thought O'Brien actually was one of the better players on Saturday? I thought he was at least trying to get on the end of balls and trying to get into position.
I think O'Brien will come good. He needs a good run of games.
Yeah. Sorry, no, go on, Phil. Go on.
No, go on, Michael.
I was saying, to answer my mistakes question. That's the thing. So if we're saying Dan Neil in the number 10 role behind the strikers, does that mean we're dropping Maguire?
You could play Maguire as part of the front two, even playing off. Who would you play him off? Will Grigg, Aidan O'Brien, or even what about Danny? What's your thoughts on Danny Graham? Do you think he could be given a start soon?
Why not?
One question at a time.
Go on, Dino.
On Mad Mistakes question, where does Daniel even play? Is he a left back? Is he a left winger? Is he a number 10? I don't even know where he plays.
He's a left footer anyway. He's a left footer, and he can play like he was playing a kind of defensive midfield at one point early on in his career, but he can also obviously be sort of an offensive midfielder as well. So, can he be in the centre of the park and be just in front of Hume on the left, or would he like to say number 10 would be his best role?
Well, every time I've watched him, he's always been out in the wing. So I'd say put him on the left-hand side of the front three or whatever formation we play, because I still don't even know what formation we play half the
I
time.
even go 4-4-2 with him as a winger.
Yeah, but he won't play 4-4-2. That's too unrealistic.
Yeah.
What was your question, Jacob? Sorry.
Well, hang on before we do that one. Michael's trying to get in.
Go on, Michael.
No, question for Terry, actually. You know how you've championed Dan Neil and obviously wanted to see him start? Would you, if it meant Scowen didn't play on Saturday, but Dan Neil did in place of Dobson, what would your thoughts be?
I wouldn't bring Dan Neil in.
By the way, I know that's not going to happen. I'm just asking what you think.
I wouldn't bring Dan Neil in for an away match for his first league match anyway. I wouldn't bring anybody in for the first match for a league match away from home. I'd start him at home. So I would find a way of getting the team up and running with somebody else in on Saturday and let Dan Neil come in for the home match first.
Fair enough.
Just before we go to your question there, Jacob, I want to bring Joe in, then he doesn't feel left out. From Joe, from an outsider's point of view, looking at Sunderland, what's your sort of prediction for where do you think Sunderland can finish the season? Do you think we're good? We're a good bet for an automatic promotion slot, or are we more likely to be a playoff place, or not even that?
I think he'll definitely be up there, mate. I think he'll definitely be up there. The squad is good. Parkinson at this level. I mean, the style of football leaves a lot to be desired, I must say, but he does get results at this level. He has done before with Cole Ewan and Bolton. But it depends whether he can get it going at Sunderland. I still think he'll be up there, top six at least, if not knocking on the top two. You've got some good players. Chris Maguire, obviously, love him to bits. And I think you'll be a good bet for up there this season. I think if we're challenging, we'll probably be competitors with Sunderland, definitely.
So first, you say,
but between first and sixth, somewhere in there, probably between.
Sorry, can I just point out quickly, Phil? You know when I said the Swindon win League One and Swindon on top of League One?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
that was a trick.
Bad
Mistake. You're trying to get in there.
Another question for Joe there. Joe, what's your favourite away day?
Favourite away day? Well, it would be Sunderland usually. I do like a trip up to Sunderland. I must say, the cheap beer up north it does hit the right spot, I must say.
Yeah, but you got to drink it by 10 o'clock, otherwise they're going to chuck you out. They're shutting the pubs at 10. Jacob, did you have a question you were struggling in there?
Yeah, what's your guys' thoughts on Danny Graham at the moment? What did you think? How do you think he did when he came on Sat? Do you think he had much of a sniff, or do you feel we need to tweak the formation to get the service to him? But you could say the same for Will Grigg at the same time.
Mad Mistake, do you want to start with that?
I didn't really see him touch the ball, to be fair, on Saturday. I didn't think he had much service, didn't really have much to do. It was all a bit panicky and rushy from Phil Parkinson. I think, again, Danny Graham, if you're going to play Danny Graham, you want to give him more time than just the time he came on for. And like I say, up front. But when he played against Villa, he had one or two nice touches. I know it's against younger kids and inexperienced players, but it did show one or two really nice, clever passes, which we're missing. We were missing those on Saturday.
Right, before we go to the next one, we've got some more predictions coming in, and there's 3-0s and 4-0s coming in now. I mean, this will be people in the pub trying to get themselves as drunk as possible before midnight. Right, so on that question, Danny Graham, Dino?
You know what? I just don't think, our strikers don't score goals anyway. I mean, everything comes from the wing, mainly. I mean, it's Chris Maguire who got the goal. Danny Graham, I've already said, I don't rate the bloke. I don't when I see him come on, I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going again. Danny Graham, not going to score, not going to do much. He's just a little bit better, probably a better version of Charlie White, and that doesn't say much. Like you say, I don't even want to comment on it because it's draining to talk about a player who plays for her who was terrible when he was with her before, and is he going to be much better now? So
Different league, though. Different
Pass it on to
league.
somebody
Dino.
else, please, before I start getting angry. Like.
All right. Before we throw that question at Michael, then before I forget, I need to give a shout out to the guy. I don't know his name. I'm really sorry, but the guy who lives in Primate Road in Plains Farm. I just want to say hi and thanks for watching. Now, I delivered a parcel there yesterday, and he went, "Oh, we watched the show and all that." So, so shout out for him. Thanks for watching and keep watching. The man from Primate Road, and I'll deliver you another parcel soon, hopefully. Michael, go on quickly.
Let's hurry. He's dying.
Next time you deliver his parcel, just check his name on the box so you know what his name is first.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I'd already delivered the parcel, and then he went, "Oh, I watch you on YouTube." So it had already gone then. So, Michael, so your view on Danny Graham?
Didn't think he did much wrong when he came on. I think that, like I've said before, I think people need to stop looking at the first time he was here because it is different circumstances. Whether people like to admit it or not, it is different circumstances. Does that mean he's going to be good now? Of course not. I think Danny Graham, yeah, I think he's definitely going to be a better version of Charlie White, which, like Dino said, isn't saying much. But you know, if it's at least there's that option there. And to be honest, there's probably not someone who isn't much better that we could have got because of the salary cap anyway. So, you know, if it's not working, I think Danny Graham's not a bad option to bring on, get his fitness going. I still think Graham could play a crucial part this season, or at least a key part in some respects, even if he doesn't play every game.
Well, for me, sorry, go on, Dino, jump in quick.
You go. I've got a different question, so you go.
All right, okay. Well, for me, Danny Graham. I mean, on the chat here, we got Andrew Elwood says Danny Graham is an impact sub, but on for 60 minutes, not 85th minute.
Yeah, agree.
That's
you know, I do think Danny Graham
Good point.
will be better in this league than he was with us before. Though I don't know. I'd like to think we get the Danny Graham, the Swansea Danny Graham would be nice.
Or the Blackburn.
Very quickly.
that'll be all right.
Very quickly again on the chat, Alfie AQ. Daniel is a better George Honeyman. If you like. Right, go on, Dino. You've got another question for us.
You know what, right? We've got a player, and we haven't actually talked about this, right? Because he's a young player. What's happening with Benji Kimpioka? Because isn't he supposed to be a striker, young lad, talented, coming through? What's going on with him?
He's way down the pecking order. He's isolated himself in Sweden, so I can't see him coming back for a long time.
But did he not agree to sign an extension on his contract or something like that? And so Stuart Donald did his freezing the kids out? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking the question. Did he
went back? I think he went back to Sweden to try and get a better deal with another team or try and get a better deal for himself. And I think he's frozen himself out of the picture altogether, to be honest. I can't see him getting back on the side nowhere near before Christmas. If he ever gets back on the side again.
I don't understand how a kid who hasn't even really played a game can decide he's going to go to a different. I mean, there's not much better club going to give him his chance than Sunderland, really. Let's be fair. If he's going to go to another club away, it's not going to be any bigger than Sunderland. So why would you want to leave? But he's going on he's going to be the next big thing. Like every time I've watched him, he's just raw, just pure raw. So if anything, he wants to try and learn his train here, get some games in. But if Benji thinks he's better than what he is, then, you know, on your bike.
He reminds me... Oh, no, Phil,
sorry, Jacob, before we bring you in there, quickly on the chat, we've got a comment about Danny Graham. And it's Taffy Mackham, our friend Taffy Mackham says, Danny Graham was a shrewd signing, sponsored by Age UK as well, which is interesting. Jacob.
Yeah, with Kimmioka
somewhere. Go on.
With Kimmioka, I feel the times I've watched him, he was a bit too similar to Duncan Watmore, if I'm honest. He shows great bursts of pace when he comes on, but in the final third, he just lacks, in particular in games where we need him most when we bring him on. A bit of a road runner, end product's not quite there. And if we do let him go, which I'm not sure if he's still at the club or
Jacob,
not, then
Can I just cut in there? Sorry, I've got Taffy Mackham and SEFC till we die saying Yorker's not even a Sunderland player anymore. He's been released.
He was released about a month ago. A couple of months ago, he was released.
I thought that was just TSA that he was going to say an extension. A contract.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
I didn't realise he got released.
He's been offered another contract by Sunderland, but apparently he's been offered better contracts elsewhere. And I think he's trying to get a better contract with Sunderland. I think his head was turned by Marjorie and Asoro.
He wanted money.
I think they were his heroes. I think they were the ones he looked up to, and his head was turned by those two personally for me. Like
he wants more money in it. He's not going there to play football. He's going there for who can give the most money. He's going to do what Asoro did. Went to try and get more money, and his career is just going to go like that.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. Like for me, Kimpioka, move on from him. I'm bored of hearing about him. It's the same with Madge. It's the same with Asoro. Could have done something here. Chose not to do it. So I'm bored of hearing about him. And when he was on the pitch, he was a bit of raw pace. Scored a goal against Coventry. Wow, whoop-de-doo. Just move on. I'm bored of hearing about him. We need to move forward, not back.
I've got a question for Joe as well. Joe, has Oxford got any new talent coming through the academy? Like, have you ever got an academy player where you think, wow?
Yeah, I mean, we had Shandon Baptiste who went to Brentford last season, who came through our academy. It was and we've got quite a good academy, to be fair, mate. We've got a few young lads coming through that could hopefully this season make a breakthrough. Nico Jones might be on the bench. He's a good young left-footed centre back, which is rare to find. So yeah, we've got quite a few, mate, to be fair.
Just very quickly then, Stephen Hensel, friend of the show. Hi, Stephen.
Steve.
Hi, lads. He's just finished work. Has he missed a good show? Well, no, apart from Joe's been brilliant, our guest, but we've all been rubbish. So
don't bother watching the last. Just watch for Joe.
We need the views here. Watch the highlights later.
I don't know where.
Watch the whole thing, lad.
Daytona Fire. I don't know who he's on about here, but I don't know if it's Danny Graham, but deliver him an egg if we're up by Easter. Whoever said that, I don't know who keeps saying up by Easter, but Nigel Dunn says in reply to that, he'll lay an egg if we're up by Easter. So there we go.
Jacob's face. Like,
somebody, Jacob, you mentioned Duncan Watmore. What's this? I mean, I'm out of touch with it at the moment. What's the script with him? Is he fit or?
No, left. The club released him.
Has he gone the journey now? Has he?
Yeah, I think they looked at his injury record over bless Dunks, like he puts his heart on his sleeve, but I think we needed to look else, and he was one of the more higher earners at the club as well.
If you just said Duncan Watmore left, didn't he leave months ago? Wasn't it confirmed?
Yeah, released at the end of last season. Yeah.
Yeah. So why we're talking about Duncan Watmore?
Well, because I'm so
out of touch.
Well, because
it's the same thing why we're talking about Benji Kimpioka.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, Dino. The reason we're talking about him is because I keep harping back to that. I'm a grafter, right? Out working every hour God sends, right? While you lot are just sat in doing that.
I'm at work.
Mad mistakes out running all the time. So
I'm back at work now, Philly.
Did a 5K before this.
Right. Anyway, I think that's just about it. Unless anybody else has got something they want to chuck in before we.
Okay, go on. I'll let Dino go first.
Does anyone think the whole William story thing's true? Because he's piped up on Twitter again. He's back up on Twitter. Anyone buying it? Anyone thinking it's close? Or is
I think we need Sean for this.
Well, yeah. Somebody from out of the blue is an there are a set of from Essex who've been in touch with me the last couple of weeks, and they say I don't know how well they know him or whatever, but he's to be avoided like the plague. But again, that's just a common consensus of a lot of Sunderland fans anyway.
Pretty much.
So who knows? I mean, we're supposed to be. I'll come to you in a sec, Michael.
Yeah,
We're
that's fine, that's
supposed to be. You know, we were supposed to be hearing about these new owners before the start of the season, and didn't wasn't it mentioned on the radio that
Nick Barnes.
Nick Barnes said, "Oh, you know, he'll have news for us and stuff like this," and I just don't know what's happening with it. You know,
It's
as
like
nobody does.
the Newcastle one, isn't it? It's like the Newcastle. Oh, it's going to happen next week. It's going to happen the next week. I mean, it's just getting delayed, and it'll probably just fall through like theirs did.
All right, quickly, Michael, you was trying to get in there before we go.
Yeah, that's fine. Just one final question for Joe, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong, you played Newcastle in the FA Cup last season, didn't you?
We did, yep.
Yeah. Did you go to St James's Park?
I did, yep.
Right. Which one's better, St James's Park or Stadium of Light for an away day?
Oh,
So I'm going to
you
really
can't,
put him on the spot
you
here.
can't ask him that when he's on our channel.
How do I leave?
I felt like being
Press the leave button now, mate. I don't know.
Well, most of my family are Sunderland fans, to be fair. So I'll have to say Sunderland.
Oh, you've got to be honest. You've got to be honest. You can't just say, "Oh, because we
He's being honest.
He's already said it, man.
It is him being honest.
I want his own opinion. Like, that's just saying, "Oh, because me family's Sunderland, I'm Sunderland." What do you've been to both stadiums? What one did you like the best?
Sunderland's the better ground. Sunderland's
There
the
you
better ground.
go. Now let it lie, Dino. Just let it lie. Stop prodding.
It just went cliche, like, "Oh,
Hang on.
Sunderland
Dino.
family's Sunderland."
Is Dino saying that Newcastle's ground's better than Sunderland's then?
No, I'm just saying, like,
He prefers cheesy chips than steak bakes.
it's easy to
Right.
say. It's easy to say,
Dino,
"I'm
I'm just taking
Sunderland.
the
My
mick.
family's
I'm
Sunderland, so
taking the
Sunderland." We have a bunch of Sunderland fans here. Do you know what I mean? Because imagine you said Newcastle,
taking the mick,
you
lads.
will be going off it.
Right. Let's call it a day there because everybody's just shouting over each other. Right then.
Oh, I've got one more question as well. One more question, right, for the lads.
Quick
This
one.
new signing we signed, Mitchell Curry. He put a tweet out in March or something saying we're embarrassing, but now he's just signed for you. What do you think about it? Someone who says we're embarrassing, but he's going to play for you.
I think there's a lot of young kids coming through as footballers, and they're not.
Mistakes.
You know, it's when it gets said, they don't think about what could happen in the future. But I think it's just a naivety. It's an age thing, and it gets said. And I just think if he's brilliant, comes to us and absolutely sets the world on fire, I don't think anybody will give a damn about what he said until he leaves, and then they'll bring it all up again. I think my view on it.
Yeah. It's something he said many years ago. I find it quite sad that people have to dig this up. It's like, just move on. Just hope he does well here, and that's it. Nothing more to it.
All young players make mistakes.
I think all young players should actually learn. Don't slag the fans off because you could be playing for them in a couple of years' time.
Right. But they learn that lesson. They say they learned the hard way. Right. Look, we've got to wrap this up now because we're over time. I want to say a massive thank you to Joe, the Oxford fan, for coming on. Big cheer for Joe. Cheers, Joe. Woohoo!
Good luck on Saturday.
Big thank you to the Mad Mistake, Jacob Kirkbride,
Stay
Dino,
safe in the northeast.
Dino, Michael Bowers, myself, Wee Philly, and Sean, who's missing. But I do think we are discussing it at the moment. I think we're going to be back on Sunday to do a review of Sunderland's 2-1 win against Oxford on Saturday. So watch out for that. I think it's going to be around about 6-ish or something, back on Sunday doing something live like this. And that's it. So we'll see you hopefully Sunday, if not possibly next Thursday. And if not, who knows? We'll see you then. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Keep the faith. How are the lads?
Woohoo!
I was waiting for you.